Maureen, thank you for joining today to answer a couple questions about your background and then kind of your leadership style and your managerial experience. I wanted to start off a little bit with just your background in general and then how you got to the current position you're currently in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. My background is in event management. I went to Iowa State University and studied event management. I was very lucky to have the time to focus on internships and real life experience while I was in college, which set me up for success in my career. I then worked at Iowa State University Foundation, where I got lots of experience in lots of different roles. Um, I wore lots of different hats while I was there, and found that my passion was really in event management software, registration, and digital marketing. So that's what led me to my current role at Deloitte, um, on the registration platform Splash. Um, I am very focused on our relationship with the vendor, which has helped me succeed in my career growth, as well as that also allows me to be the SME on my team, and kind of provide training and that expertise in the platform to my teammates.
What is your current role with Deloitte?
My current role is lead registration specialist.
Cool. And what's your kind of day-to-day look like with the team?
Yeah, so I work remote. I work from home and spend a lot of time in meetings virtually. My team is all across the United States. I have one colleague in India and then a couple colleagues in Costa Rica. So we also do navigate those different geographies and time zones. But my day to day is meeting with my team, checking in with them, making sure that the system is running properly. If there's any bugs or glitches, I kind of am that go between my team and the vendor. And then I work with my program teams, my clients. Anytime I could carry 20 to 30 events in the upcoming months. So I'm also managing my own book of business day to day and meeting with those teams and launching events and closing events, things like that.
Cool. So there's between 8 to 10 questions that we'll go through.
Okay.
Thank you for going through your background. They focus mainly on like management and like leadership questions.
Okay.
So you've been in your role for a little bit, so the next one's kind of perfect for you. What is the most important piece of advice you would give to a new manager or lead in your position?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think something for me that I had to learn when I um, started mentoring and managing colleagues was the importance of listening. Um, I am a talker, um, and I think being in that position of directing someone's career and their career movements,
Mm,
or what they're doing in their job, it's easy to like talk. Some of those situations too can be like a little awkward or um uncomfortable, so it's easier to like talk. And what I've learned is to like pause and let the other person respond or ask questions, even if there's like that moment of awkward silence, like that's sometimes okay. The other thing I've learned is to really understand who you're managing.
mm,
Not everyone is exactly like you. Not everyone wants feedback presented the way I like feedback presented. Not everyone um, understands feedback the way I do. So really thinking about who I'm talking to, the message I have to give, what might work for one person on my team is not going to work for somebody else. So tailoring those conversations and how I talk to depend
mm.
on the person.
It's really good. Uh, that's something I work on myself as well, is letting other people problem solve on their own, and
Mm-hmm.
then understanding kind of how they go about their work differently than I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Everyone's a little different.
and again, this one feels like an interview question, but try to curtail it to management times and experiences you've had. Can you tell me about a time you tried something and it didn't work, like with the team?
Mhm. Mm. No, I'm perfect. Um, I mean, I think anytime we have to have like a group discussion on a team call to like make an overarching decision of like how the team is going to respond to certain situations is always tricky. Um, and I've had a number of those in the years I've been in my position. Um, just as things come up. And I've gotten better at it. But I think sometimes there are times where I genuinely need the input from everyone on the team
Mm-hmm.
to make a decision. And sometimes I've learned the team is going to go in one direction. We need to have the conversation so everyone gets on board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and that's something I've learned from my manager. Um, that the importance of the buy-in and having that conversation and not just making the decision at like a leadership level with like my manager and myself as the team kind of leaders, um how important it is to have a conversation with everyone and get that buy-in and get the understanding and give them the opportunity to ask questions and um feel like we're making decisions together.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's good. Kind of again, similar, just listening, getting everyone's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, this next one, it's kind of interesting. How do you handle ethical gray areas? And so
Ooh.
you can,
Yeah.
we can keep it broad. I want to see where your mind goes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky when it comes to this, because I do work at like such a large corporation, that a lot of the time our Office of General Counsel and our risk team are providing guidance on gray areas. Um, so a lot of the time when I have to tell one of my clients, like, we can't do XYZ, we can't ask for pronouns, something like that. I can rely on that kind of backing, and you don't get a lot of pushback when you when you say like this came from OGC and risk. Um, but then there are other times where I get a request to make a bunch of changes um, to like a web page, and we have templates that we use. And if I start to make changes for one person that really get away from the template, I'm going to cause problems for my colleagues in the future who might
Mhm.
work with them.
Mhm.
Um, and so sometimes it's being protective of our team and our time and setting a boundary, um, and maybe not telling the whole truth. I have a lot of capabilities within the system, but just because I have the capability doesn't mean I should be
Mm.
doing that. If we've got disclaimers and different things for a reason, that maybe aren't required by risk and OGC and our lawyers, but are required, within our team. So um, when I get asked to remove them, I think it's just about like being confident, setting a boundary, being the most knowledgeable, like, and showing that really makes a difference when you have to
Mhm.
have those kind of tough conversations.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
When your team isn't meeting performance expectations, either on a project or just in general day to day, how do you redefine a problem or redefine the problem for the team to work on?
Yeah, I try and remember that everyone's human.
Hmm.
Um, And I really enjoy the people I work with, which makes this a lot easier to do. But when someone is slipping up at work, my first thought is usually like, what's going on with them?
Hmm.
And I want to check in with them. And if it's super personal, I don't need to know the details, but like it always makes me wonder, like, is something going on at home? Is there someone in your family that's sick? Like, if I know your level of work and we're not at that, like my assumption is that like something else is going on. Um, Maybe they're carrying too much work. Which is a conversation we can have if you're overstaffed and we need to reprioritize and like reorganize our projects. And I think remembering like people go through things, like seasons of life. Like I work with other moms. I work with who moms who get sick kids. Like that like turns your week upside down. So I'm always trying to pitch in, check in with people. And I think our team does a good job of that. Um, Jumping in on projects if we need to. And remembering that like everyone's human, everyone has the same 24 hours in the day, and we're all doing our best. And that's all I can ask of employees, like do your best. If it's a longer term um issue, like more serious conversation that kind of runs up the flagpole and not quite my responsibility. The other important thing is like documentation, like document everything.
Hmm.
Because if it becomes a problem, then like that's always good to have as well. That I tried to accommodate and I tried to help, and we've done
Yeah.
everything we can.
Uh, Time check. We have 2 minutes left, so we'll do one more
Oh,
question.
okay.
Um, how do you respond to employees who challenge the status quo? And that could be
Mm,
positive or negative challenging.
yeah. I've got someone right now, a newer um hire that definitely is doing that. And I would say it's 50-50. Like I try and keep my mind open that I guess and because this employee is a newer hire, like they've got the benefit of coming in with like,
Fresh eyes.
yeah, I can get so into the weeds and like be so in it that I don't see like another option, or um I don't sit back and like ask like, wait, why are we doing this? And that person like has that benefit right now. So I try when that gets brought up to like have an open mind and like listen.
Hmm.
Um, but I also rely on like my expertise and my knowledge. And sometimes that person has pushed me and I've like I know the answer. Like we're doing it this way because of XYZ. Um,
Mm.
and I think in that case, it's important to like be knowledgeable, clearly explain, and move on.
Mm.
Uh, because sometimes in my experience, those types of people like want to keep going. Like they'll push. Um, and like back to again, like if I'm confident, if I know what I'm talking about, um, we can move on. And like there's your answer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Case by case, even though it's the same person. But it's
Yeah, it can be different. Yeah. And I think that's why like you have to start like open-minded, like, okay, have I ever had this question before? Like, let's talk about it. If I've thought about it before, then I have an answer and we're gonna move on.
cool. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for agreeing to do
Of
this.
course.
For
Yeah,
kind
thanks for having
of,
me.
yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.